Heyo, viewers, and welcome to Slacker Symposium. It's been a while since we've had a Slacker Symposium. I looked back right before recording, and it's been since October, since before the beginning of this runDisney season. I am Jar Oxen Spoon. I am not the J. Crows. He was invited, but he is out of town, so I am taking up the hosting duties today. Let me introduce some of our guests, or actually all of our guests. I'm not just going to introduce some of you and leave the rest to the imagination. I don't know how your boxes are arranged on your screen, but to my right, I'm not sure if it's to my right, to my left, whether I'm looking at the screen or not, or from another perspective. But the man in the purple is Kunkel, Mr. Free Donkey Kong himself. Welcome to the Symposium, Mr. Kunkel.
Why, hello there, King. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
That's coming from the outskirts of the ATL. I heard you were working on your deck.
I was, getting it ready for a certain barbecue that may be happening this summer.
That's cool. That's cool. Maybe we'll get to that a little later.
Yeah. Quick hot tip though. If you ever have a contractor, I'm redecking it after 10 years. If you ever have a contractor tell you, you know what, I'll save you money by not pulling permits.
Ooh.
Keep moving.
No. I'm not good at identifying red flags, but I feel like that's a red flag.
Well, it didn't quite come out that way at the time, but in hindsight, that's really the message I should have gotten.
Now, going clockwise on my screen, we have coming from the state of Mississippi, Mayorwares.com, not a real website. Hello,
not
Mayorwares.
A real website. It's been a long day, so I'm here. I'm here, and I shan't be getting off here anytime soon.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good answer.
All right. Moving along is the other person in purple, Mrs. Spoon, as one of her names on the channel, appearing on the channel since 2019. Here's Linz.
Hello, friends. I'm excited to share all of our thoughts and feelings and warm fuzzies and regrets. This is going to be the regret episode.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
There could be a lot of thoughts and feelings in this.
It's true.
Oh no, I didn't think about that.
Full of regrets. Yeah.
Everywhere seems to regret being here already.
Can we change the title to runDisney Ragrets?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know.
Can you make the cover of this the ragrets thing, but maybe like on Bill's dancing pecs or something?
Oh, just as we've reiterated from last episode, we have a shirts policy on the Oxen Spoon channel.
Good job. Everyone.
Join the Patreon group for Slackers After Dark.
All right. Next up,
After Dark.
from the States, one of the original 13 colonies. Is that correct? 13 colonies? Was it? I don't know. We'll have to ask a historian that. We have Kimmy Runs the World from the state of Virginia.
That was one of the 13 colonies.
Yeah, I think it was the first one.
Was that number one?
Yeah. Delaware
it
was
the
number
first
one.
Oh.
I mean, officially. Did you guys have to do the 13 original colonies song in school?
It's going through my head now. Thank you very much.
Oh, what is it?
Original colonies, shout 'em.
Oh,
Something. Tell all about.
Voices of Liberty can teach it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kunkel, you mentioned Voices of Liberty. I saw a clip the other day. They were singing Old MacDonald. I don't know if I went into Voices of Liberty and they were singing Old MacDonald, I'd be a little disappointed, even though I'd love to hear their animal impressions.
But do you think they were inspired by a said old Ronald McDonald that might have been running past?
I mean, what's her face? Kelly was there, right?
That's true.
Yeah, she was there. I think she was in that video also.
Yes.
Kelly, who also participates in runDisney races, who is part of Voices of Liberty. Then she may have seen us run as we weren't farm animals. There were shrimp. We're more like vegetables and fruits and stuff. But the person that we were following is the legendary Bill Stewart, the running Ronald McDonald himself. How you doing from the state of North Carolina?
Oh,
good. Hey, Slacker Nation. Good to see all the friendly faces. Not wearing makeup.
So clean. I know.
I know.
I barely recognized you.
fresh
Yeah.
from his solo video debut on the channel. I think that
One of my buddies here.
only other person on the channel who has a solo video is Jar, correct?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not on that level at all. I look up to the king.
As far as I can tell, I think that's correct.
I think North Carolina is the original 13 colony.
It is. So is Georgia. I think Georgia was like 4 and North Carolina was 6.
Come for your Run Disney pro tip, stay for the history lesson.
I mean,
I love it.
So, speaking of the 13 colonies, this episode is entitled Slackers Symposium. Run Disney mistakes I shan't repeat. So, tonight we're going to talk about things that we regret doing, or regret. That's regret with an A. So, let's see who wants to kick off this discussion tonight. Who wants to reveal their biggest Disney regret or a mistake that they shan't repeat? Meredith, I know you're itching to go.
oh yeah, I've got some. As we were talking about earlier, based off my credit score, it was probably taking this up as a hobby. But you know what? As Lil Kimmy said, low credit score, high friendship score. So that was worth it. But so I really thought about this for a long time. And if you go to the Run Disney pages, one of the things that you'll see a lot is that you should, like, nothing new on race day, and you should go test running your costume. And I think that one of my biggest regrets is test running in a costume. Most people say you should do that, but I come at you with a different perspective. Because there are so many costumes that I would have missed out on, that I would have just completely chickened out on, or would have toned down. Whereas when I went and put it on race morning, I was like, well, this is just the way it is. And it may be really uncomfortable, but it's just 13 miles, or it's just whatever. Has that cost me in ways? Yeah. But it's really pushed me out of my comfort zone. So
Give us an example of a race costume.
Where would you like me to start? The trash can. The trash can, I never put that on. The mine cart, never put that on.
Weren't you assembling the mine cart before
in the parking lot?
In the parking lot, yeah.
Yeah, in the parking lot.
What about the tavern from Tangled?
Was also making that. Oh, most recently, I made the entire cloud and lightning bolt in the hotel room. So you definitely, I was spraying and getting, fumes up my nose the night before. So don't run in it before. You'll be fine. Don't stress out about it. Not worth looking like an idiot for. But if you want to, you can. But
Mary, I think you've made a mistake, though, of not wearing something underneath said uncomfortable costume. That if you had to make a ditch, you could leave a piece.
But here's the thing. For a costume to work and for a costume to look good, you got to commit, right? So you got to go all in. And so if it's going to be really hot, you got to be well, it's just going to be really hot. Or if you're going to be really cold, you just got to be really cold. And so
you got to be willing to ride it on the bus is what you're saying.
Yes. Both ways.
All kinds of buses.
Yeah. They're like the sweeper bus. The balloon lady's gone. Darn it, I'm not coming out of this.
Yeah.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
Good on the sweeper bus.
And honestly, if you're in a costume that's big enough, they're probably not going to put you on the sweeper bus. Unless you're corn, and then they will belt
The
up.
balloon won't even be able to get past you if you're wearing a wide enough cloud. So
yeah. So
that is a great insight, because there are plenty of costumes where if I had an out, I would have taken it, but I'm so glad I didn't. So that's a good.
It really pushes you out of your comfort zone, and I think either builds or destroys your confidence, one or the other. So how you look at it.
Does anyone on this panel try their costumes on or do a dry run before a Run Disney race? I don't. Does anybody?
I don't
I
even
try
do
them on.
a dry run of running clothes.
Yeah, it's like
most of the time I'm like, I don't know that I've ever done a Disney race that I haven't had to Amazon Prime, usually a fairly large part of the costume, directly to the hotel and hope that it made it through Disney Mail and to my resort before I have to leave at 2:30 in the morning.
Didn't we go to Target before the 10K this last?
We did. We did.
Glue, hot glue gun.
Yeah, hot glue. We ran out of hot glue. Hot glue.
The only thing I ever tried to run in first, believe it or not, was probably Donkey Kong. And when I say that, I only like ran around like the cul-de-sac a couple times just to see how bad an idea this was. And it was a very bad idea. So that actually probably lasted longer in my pre-race trial than it did on race day. Link above.
I think most of us have a costume regret. Let's just go around and talk about it. Kunkel, is it Donkey Kong or?
Oh no, I don't regret it.
No, not
I'm not that smart.
Yeah. Not saying regret because the pictures and the external validation are worth it. It's just like there's some pain in the process of getting from the start line to the finish line, or even before the start line, and maybe past the finish line.
No, if anything, I think my run Disney costume regret would be being too intimidated to do it sooner. Because the first time I actually did one in costume, and I felt like an idiot getting on the bus, but then saw people smiling and laughing and happy at 2:30 or whatever in the morning, 3:00 in the morning, and I realized, hey, I'm making other people happy. This is cool, and that's what you do it for.
Yeah,
not just for the change.
You got off the bus with your bugle.
That's right.
I will say because of the shirt you're wearing, Mr. Spoon, I have ragrets about that costume we did, the Dagobah Darlings, and only because I had ragrets that I ordered the skirt I was probably pictured here wearing too late, and it was so tight, I almost vomited. It was so tight, and it was so humid on the race course today. I had lacerations in my little midsection from the skirt. So that is the only costume I have regret about, and not because it was even that stellar of a costume. It was so tight. I felt ill, physically ill. But everything else I love. I wish I'd gone bigger and better. Also bigger in size.
I feel like mine's the same as Kunkel's. Like, I remember going to the first Run Disney race weekend, and we dressed as Mouseketeers, and I was like, my gosh, we're going all out. And then it was like, I literally had a shirt with your name on it and a sparkle skirt, thinking nobody else was going to be dressed up. And I wish that I had actually read the directions on my shrimp costume to realize I was supposed to stuff something into the head, so I didn't end up with a steamed sleepy shrimp. That would have
looked great.
It still looked amazing.
Best looking shrimp on the course. Maybe tied for first.
Yeah, I was gonna say Katie's held up better, but she's taller than me, so mine was like a dress. Hers was like a shirt. That didn't come out of the bag until we got to Disney. So if that didn't work, well. Or if it was like, even just thinking, I was like, what if this is like cheap fabric and it's ripped? But that's why I carry needle and thread with me.
Ooh.
That Mare has used.
Yes, several times. Kimmy's my girl, and I'm like, I need this. I'm like, hey, I need 3 hot glue sticks.
I think it was the 10K this year that I had no idea, and my sign was, my Living with the Land sign was coming apart, and Kimmy just swoops in. It's like, hey, I'm here to help with what? Oh, these safety pins, and she MacGyver's it for me. And
I will say my biggest costume regret is Lindsay's fault. Yes, because the Sparkle Princesses, I still have lacerations on my arms because of that costume. They were literally bleeding by the time we left that costume. And I remember going to the medical tent and the guy being like, here, you want Vaseline? I was like, no, I want a barrier to make it stop. And he was like, no, you want Vaseline. I was like, it's not chub rub. It's lacerations, my guy. And so, by the end I was like, but
So it was because of a layer underneath the dress, correct?
it was the sequins on the dress.
Sequence of the dress.
But Lindsay, you wore another layer under.
Yeah, I forgot to mention to Mayor that Jez and I were buying a layer to go underneath.
Yeah, I was like, next time, share with the class. Share with the class.
Yes, that was literally what she said to me when we got to the race. Oh, yeah.
I'm really curious to see. I mean, I have regrets on Bill's behalf, but I'm really curious what Bill's thoughts are.
So I've evolved, obviously, in my costumes. For me, the crazier, the better. And that sort of has been a process. But mine actually brought it here.
Oh.
This is my one regret.
Oh, man.
Because this is the one costume where I almost passed out, where I did not hydrate. And Jar saw me.
And Animal Kingdom that day.
Was that Princess 2023?
10K 23, yeah.
Yeah. Like it was later that afternoon. We met in Animal Kingdom. We're at Satuli Canteen, and Bill walks in, and he's not himself. And I think I got like a cheeseburger pod kids meal, and I had the little mandarin orange. I was like, set on the table. Bill, eat this. he was out of it. Look, dehydrated. You were with Colleen, your wife, and and
it was so I wore this. Lynn, do you remember? Like I wore this the whole race.
The whole race
with the costume.
Yeah,
I had gloves on too, and it was so hot, and it was a fun race. We ran with Penny Lane.
Yes.
And had a great time. And like I just forgot. I got caught up in the race and forgot about hydrating. It was before I took salt pills too, and so. Like then the next like springtime surprise, Mayor is like feeding me salt pills where I'm wearing the Darth Vader, Darth Zurg costume with a black beanie underneath it all.
That one you carried, that helmet had that gown and with the beanie on top, and like that was a hot race too.
And I lost a glove, and I tried to backtrack to find my glove, and people were like, it's like a mile down that way, and so then I just kept. But yeah, this is the big one. I mean, this is the one. And like when Krista says to hydrate, like now, like I understand that because even for the 10K, I mean, this is one where like it didn't catch up to me, and then it caught up to me, and I was like, oh, I'm sort of dizzy. I feel like I'm gonna pass out, and like so that's my one. And I like running in makeup, so I mean that I feel like. I like the makeup stuff. So, and I like the crazy costumes. So I just know to take salt pills.
Yeah. So. There you go.
I'm curious what your thoughts were after the Triton experience with the beard and all that.
Oh yeah. So that was pretty cool. So the Triton one, I had long pants on, and then I had the Triton, what do you call it? Like the fin skirt thing. Skirt. Yeah.
Mermaid tail. Merman tail.
Skirt, yeah, the skirt matched siblings' skirt thing. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to take the skirt off because she was like, are you going to be too hot on that? You need to cut the skirt. I was like, no, I'm all right. And so the beard was hot, but I took salt pills. So that was good. And yeah, so I like that was a good one. So
and that was a half, right? Wasn't that the prince? Was that the princess half?
That was a half. That was half. My heart rate on my watch was really high. I noticed like when we got like maybe it was mile like 8, I noticed that like my heart rate like spiked the rest of the race.
I think that's when we switched concierging.
yes, that's when we switched.
Concierge the first part. Like, I'll take over, Bill.
Yes. But this is the only one. Part. This is the only one where like I really maybe could have passed out.
But do you remember your watch was like get rid of the water? Like you
so on this one, the watch was get rid of the water.
You gave the alert. Like
so I got the alert on my Apple Watch about get rid of the water from when I wore this. And
you were sweating so much?
No.
It was hot that day.
Drowned his Apple Watch.
Yeah. And I got to the point like almost like where I quit sweating too. Like it was like I got like it was an Animal Kingdom. The cheeseburger pods were great. They filled me back up. So.
I think we also got you Gatorade or Powerade in the park too.
Yeah.
Legendary Lady Stewart, I know, had your back too. So it was a team effort.
So I had the cheeseburger pods, and then we immediately went to Tiffin's.
Beautiful.
That's not unusual.
Jared, what's your biggest costume regret?
Mine's probably Princess 2022 half, where I wore the sequin jacket and got it cut off at mile 6. It was already hot, and I was like, I'm gonna just get my castle picture and then get this cut off, and like the castle picture, it's not even good, and so I went to the medical tent, and she was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And I'm like, "No, please cut this off." And then you could be like, "Hey, Jar, why don't you just take off your jacket?" Well, the shirt underneath was way too tight, and I wasn't going to go do the rest of the race in that tight polo. So that's why I just cut off my sleeves and got through the rest of that.
I think normally we'd only do this on the marathon, but I think that year after that half marathon, we literally went back to the room and slept until dinner. Like, that's how wrecked we both were after that race.
I think we both said like this was harder than the marathon.
Yeah. And I didn't do it in sequins. So
yeah. And you had those black pants too that were that must have absorbed the heat.
Yeah, I had the pleather pants on, but that wasn't what bothered me. Yeah, it was just like the top half, because like I think I would run until I would feel hot, and that wasn't very long. It was just heat building up. Yeah, Princess halves the last few years have been historically pretty humid.
I'm just feeling so proud of us right now, y'all, because just even the little tidbits of costumes you all have mentioned, it just makes me think of those poor people on Disney social media groups who post a picture of themselves in t-shirts and skirts and talk about how great and epic their costume is. And it's like, oh, my young ones.
What if you're one of those people watching? Good job.
Yay, thank you.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
I will say, so like, I wanted to touch back on Bill and Bill's ridiculousness and his commitment. Anytime we say, "Hey, Bill, would you?" And he's like, "Yeah," which is like the coolest thing about Bill Stewart. But when he like sweats a lot, I think he sweats out a couple of brain cells. And so we always end up going to breakfast together. And so I like one of my like core memories and that will live with me forever was going to breakfast with King Triton and us rolling up and him like completely forgetting about the fact that he has this beard on his face. And I mean, like, we're just like sitting at the breakfast table and he's got his beard. And I was finally like, "Bill, take off your beard." Then he just like takes it off and just like lays his sweaty beard on the table, which just threw everybody off. So, Bill, we appreciate you. And
when the running Rufios, remember just this last one, the running Rufios descended on the dolphin roses.
Yes.
All dressed up. We got some fun looks then. Just there we were, ready for some huevos, etc.
In our crop tops.
In our crop tops.
It's always fun to like come back to the resort. And at this point, you'd already run the race. You just feel like you're normal in whatever get up you're wearing. But like people are then starting to leave for their park day. And you're like just walking in dressed as a shrimp. Like there's nothing wrong with this scenario.
Normal times.
Well, and especially at Swan and Dolphin, because they're like conventions, and it's like people are like actually like at their professional jobs and professionalness, and you're walking through it with a cloud on your head,
Sorry, please insert here the photo I'm going to send you of you and Bill standing in line as Ronald McDonald and Corn in the Dolphin coffee shop. I don't have the people around them, but oh my word, it was a sight to behold.
Funny enough, after the 10K at Marathon Weekend last year, I think the Coach HJ and I did the Jameters costumes.
Oh yeah.
And so we had our little fake name tags and our white shirt and just the whole deal, and I didn't think anything of it when I got back to Coronado. I had a long walk from the bus stop back to my room until the third different person had stopped me and asked for directions on how the convention center. How do I get to the convention center? How do we get to the food court? And I'm like, why does, I know where these things are, but why is there? And then I look down at myself, I'm like, oh yeah, I look like a janitor here. I just happen to have a bib pinned to my shorts, but they don't know what that is. So it's a good thing I pointed with two fingers. That's all I know.
Yeah.
In Kunkel, didn't you and family go out to eat in the fork costume?
We did. Yeah. That got some interesting looks in the food court. Like, just here for breakfast. What's your excuse?
I do like the costumes, like wearing them, because like it's like you have them. The first time I generally put them on is for a race, and then suddenly the race is over with, and you sort of want to keep wearing them. Or I do at least.
I experienced that. Like
your beard just told us that.
Yeah, after a race, like when I'm in normal clothes and I'm walking by someone, and I think like they didn't look at me funny or laugh. Oh, I'm normal.
Jar, you're never normal.
Some people want to be regarded as the pretty princesses of runDisney, and we want to be regarded as, wow, no one looked at me and thought I looked weird.
We're just there really to make everybody else look better and less nutty.
That's our brand. We'll look attractive. So
when we rush the stage at the beginning before the race.
That's one of my favorite memories is the Willy Wonka. Boy, did we kill the party. I mean, we brought the party and killed the party.
It was dead in the water as soon as we showed up. The likes of which had never been seen in front of the stage before.
The Oompa Loompas.
I think it was alluded to by Kunkel earlier today that we all could talk about costumes and all the choices that we've made. So we're going to move on. But before we do that, I'd like to remind you about give.oxenspoon.com.
Whoa.
It's a website that you can go to on the internet where you can get a shirt like what legendary Bill Stewart is wearing right now. You can also get this Hill one too if you ask for it that Kunkel is wearing. So we are raising money for Kelsey's Hope Foundation for the Disneyland Fall Time Surprise Halloween race. So any donation is appreciated. So if you go over to give.oxenspoon.com, we'd appreciate it. Mm-hmm. All right. So Linz, you're up next. What is your runDisney mistake that you shan't repeat?
So it's actually so helpful that Meredith brought up the costume thing, because that nixed off one of my regrets, which was wearing something that was too tight. Now that's been totally reframed, and I am delighted in all of my costume choices I've made. I encourage you to make hysterical costume choices yourselves, viewer. That was double, plural, and singular. But I have been sitting here inspired by the pile of medals. Oh, but one pile of medals here in Jar's game room.
Those are mine.
Yes. Yeah, those are not mine. Those are yours. A runDisney mistake I will never make again is that I will never care deeply about the themes of a race weekend. I will never care if the themes are cohesive. I will never, ever use the theme of a weekend to structure my costume idea, because who cares? Who cares what the theme is? We're probably just going to dress up like the Ninja Turtles or something anyway. But I used to be very invested in like, what's the theme going to be? What are the races going to be themed at? What are the medals going to be? And the reason I say I will never, ever make that mistake of caring too deeply about that again is because my medals are way less organized than these. Every single one of my medals since I moved to the state of Texas in 2020 is stored in a drawer by my bed, just shoved in a drawer. My Dopey medals, marathon medals, every medal just shoved in the drawer. So who cares? Who cares what the medals are? Who cares what they look like? Oh, look at you. Who cares if they're themed to something I like or care about? Who cares if I have 10 Tiana and 17 Moana medals? I do not care. I care about making memories with my friends and having the grandest old time of all, and maybe getting character stops that may or may not be people I'm interested in. But really, in every character stop photo I have ever taken, the character has not been the Disney character. The characters have been us. So that's a mistake I shan't repeat.
Even though we may not follow the theme, like the Up theme, what were we for Up theme? Oh, Living with the Land.
Living with the Land.
Yeah, they're like some upcoming themes. Like it's like a spin-off sometimes.
Oh, like when we did the Michelin Man and Goodyear blimp for cars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of the like the people who say, "Oh, I'm not going to run that race because the theming isn't cohesive." That's not how they say that. That's how I hear them say it in my head. Like that's silly. That would be such a loss if I didn't run a race because I didn't like the artwork. So yeah.
I will say I'm one of those people that
you're not one of the you're really not.
I'm not really one of the, but like I still go and like I know
like
I'm just like, well, I didn't love the what'd you call it, Kunkel, the Mookie Mouse princess thing.
The Mookie Moose, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't love that, but I had a great time that weekend. Made a lot of good memories.
Yeah.
Had a lot of lacerations on my arms.
Yeah.
The Mookie Moose?
I can't even remember what that medal looked like.
That's what we call the cheap knockoff Disney stuff. And you see, people at Disney parks. Very clear. I mean, and if it makes you happy, good on you. But, they clearly bought this at a gas station, Disney shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we call it. That's my kids and we call that Mookie Moose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not quite Mickey Mouse, but so the artwork for Princess this past year that looked like a Mookie Moose coloring book. It's like, oh, look, this looks nothing like the Disney character, so they can't sue us.
There you go. Yeah. But don't even remember what it looks like. Remember running with you guys. Don't remember what the medal looks like. It's in a drawer. Literally in a drawer.
Well, and I think that's the whole thing. Like, there's so much that leads up to these race weekends that like keeps the hype going. But okay, you don't like the medal when the medal is revealed, but do you really care after you cross that finish line and you had a great time? Because the memories are then what makes that medal special. But clearly, we all don't remember what the medals look like. So when all is said and done, it's not really worth being that sad over.
Correct.
Yeah. Just like how when the Coast to Coast medals came out, I was fine with it, but most people didn't like it. But then like the people, when you cross that finish line near that Coast to Coast, like you don't really care. It's like, we did it. We got it.
Well, it's always funny to me too, the people that are like, I hate the medals. And then they're like, I need my capture my moment photo session. And you're like, but to take a pictures with my medals. I'm like, you didn't like the medals, remember?
Well, if you ever want to be stunned by a grotesque lack of perspective, go to a runDisney social media group the day after a medal reveal is done.
You will remember how professional you truly are.
I was one who was sad about Coast to Coast, I will say. But because I got into runDisney right before Disneyland stopped running. Like we were going to do that next year and then it stopped. So I feel like that medal is iconic in what it was. And like, I kind of liked how it's similar to like Boston, although they had issues, or like some of the other races where like Princess used to have the same style medal. It was just a classic medal that looked Tiara, and it was the same, just a different ribbon or whatever. So I feel like in some sense, it's like you missed out on that like iconic medal. Did I really care after? No. Did I go take all my pictures in front of the castle? You betcha.
Do you even remember Dopey Fornia at all because of how tired you were? Probably not.
No, I had a really
I'm surprised no one said, well, I guess it's just you and me. I'm surprised neither of us said Dopey Fornia is the thing.
I had it on a list today. It was on it made a list for sure, but I figured somebody else here would say it. So. Okay,
that's me. I'm done. Thanks for listening.
I was thinking about this. I don't have any really good ones, but I will say, I think probably the thing if I think about it, I regret that I won't do again, is probably skipping things. Whether it's skipping like you say, a character photo, or chance to ride Expedition Everest during the marathon or things like that, because too intimidated by the moment, or like you're afraid you're going to miss out on your shoe deal because you're going to lose 15 seconds on your finish time. So I think that's one that I've learned, I've gotten better at, and just enjoying the moment as much as possible. If you want to go, PR a 5K or a 10K, fine. There's a lot of cheaper places to do that at home with not nearly as much to do. And if you PR at a runDisney race, fantastic, good on you. But it's a unique experience that I want to make sure I don't miss any of. Again, I wouldn't want to take for granted, especially, the chance to run with wonderful people, and if they're faster than you, fine, do your best. And if they're slower than you, fine, slow down, have a ball. It doesn't matter, just enjoy it. So I think that's my regret, is probably being intimidated by it early on. Again, going back to the costume thing. But I won't do that anymore. I'll act like a fool and just take it all in.
Kunkel, I'm replaying this episode for you during Marathon 2020.
Don't do that, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, ironically, there is a race coming up. But I will also say, in that vein, well, yes, I am shooting to PR the marathon in January. I also signed up for the 10K just to have a ball, because I love doing 10Ks with my friends. And so, yeah, so I'm still doing both.
I'm just going to yell at you, though, on marathon morning and say Kunkel in 2024 had regrets about.
I can guarantee if I'm successful at it, I will have a lot of regrets there too.
So, Kunkel, let me ask you this. When you get to the back half of the marathon and there's like no one in line for characters, will you stop in that PR attempt if there's no one in line for a character?
Oh,
A good question. Possibly, but I'm also looking at potentially running it with other people who, again, are faster than me. So it's going to depend on what the group wants to do. But yeah, we'll see. If it's just me, though, that's been one of those like Donald Duck was in the Blizzard Beach parking lot a year or two ago, and like there was nobody there because everyone just wanted to die, not get a picture with Donald Duck. And I thought, you know what? I would have missed 10 seconds and had a picture with Donald Duck that I probably would never look at again. But still, part of the experience. So don't miss out on that.
I felt like 2022, they were like begging people to stop for characters because no one was. It was so hot and miserable that people were just like going. And seriously, it'll take 5 seconds. You won't lose any time. Oh.
No, ESPN's waiting for me. I gotta get there.
That's a good lesson, Mr. Kunkel, and one I will throw in your face often.
Please do.
Yes, the good friend that I am.
What about you, Kimmy?
I feel like Kunkel and I have some synergy today because mine was like really letting go of the fear of the balloon ladies. Poor Katie, my lovely sister, she did the 5K with me when I did my first Princess Half, and she didn't really train that much, which is kind of funny now to think about not really training that much for a 5K and how terrified she was. But like, I remember being so stressed out that we were going to get swept that we didn't even like stop to take a selfie at anything. It was just like
during the 5K?
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
be running and being like, let's go, Katie, we're gonna get swept. And I'm like, and then you come to realize like we probably ran that in like under 50 minutes at that point. To now, if my 5K is under 2 hours, I feel like I didn't get my money's worth. Like, so like the 5K especially, like they will not sweep you. I have spent many of times with the golf carts at the end. Literally, we were waiting in line for a character in a Princess 5K, and the golf carts came up and we're like, do we need to go? And they're like, no, you're fine. Like, we're going to let this whole line go through. So like, that's, especially if you're scared about doing things, that's the race to have fun. Even if the picture lines are long, it's okay. Pick 1 or 2 and like experience all of that there.
Agree. So, I used to tell people who, like first time runDisneyers, like what should I, people were worried. It's like, just don't worry about the balloon ladies. You could get swept, but just don't worry about them. Like, who cares? Have fun.
I always say the 5K is my favorite Disney World parade. Yeah, that's just kind of how I look at it.
Not if you're in Corral A and you have to wait for the parade to go by before you leave.
Those poor people.
They do not look happy. Jared, what about you?
Mine is, it actually is relevant this year because the event falls right before a 5K. I think it was 2019 that I did the Halloween party on Halloween, went straight to the 5K, didn't sleep. I was staying with J. Crow and he did not do the 5K. So like we got back at like 1 in the morning. And then, I think he was like, I'm going to watch some Clone Wars and whatever. And I got ready in my costume, which I wore like a brown shirt and red shorts. And I was like, I'm Mowgli. And that I took a nap after that, but the lack of sleep compounded over the weekend and I was very tired. And that was 5 years ago, Jar. So I don't know what 5 years older Jar would do if I'm not going to the Halloween party the night before the 5K. So that's that is my cautionary tale. Of course, like people are way younger and can do that and are more attuned to doing stuff like that. But for me, I value my sleep. The last Dopey, I didn't even walk into the park aside from running in them or walking, whatever I was doing at that time. But I sleep is number one priority in these weekends. Even springtime is probably like, oh, it's just a 10-miler. I wanted to make sure I had enough sleep and so I can function because it still is a vacation.
We didn't hear Bill's. We heard Bill's costume regret, right? But
not Bill's.
Shan't repeat.
Sure. This is a tough one. I'm probably like Uncle and Kimmy, like just like enjoy the moment. I don't think I regret it, but like my first challenge, like the Wine and Dine 2021, where the weather was awful. I didn't even see y'all. Like I did the whole thing by myself. Like me now wouldn't do that, you know. I mean, I'm there to see friends. I mean, I really don't care. I mean, I like the costume. I love the costume. I love finishing the race. And I think for some people, like finishing a race is a huge accomplishment. And I'm not taking away that at all. But like for me personally, it's just about seeing friends and running with friends and just hanging out. But in the 2020 Wine and Dine, like I didn't know if I could finish the challenge weekend. You know, it's my first one. And like, I think I went to sleep like at 6:00 every night. And my costumes were barely costumes. But I think it was all that just newness and maybe, you know, fear. Can I really do this? You know, I mean, what's it like to do a 5K, then a 10K, then wake up for a half, you know? And of course I'd signed up for Dopey, which was, I think, a month away from Wine and Dine, month and a half. But everybody's like their own individual. I mean, some people like running alone and doing the races alone, and I think that's fine. Like for me, it's more just seeing the people, and like me today wouldn't worry at all about getting swept, just as long as I got to see the people.
Oh,
yeah, this sort of.
That's so wholesome.
I would like to be swept with all of you. We've never.
I would be swept with all of y'all.
I was going to say, you know, if it's just about hanging out together, we can do that and smell a whole lot better.
And we can build on our credit score, okay?
Yeah, we all got passed by the balloon ladies together this last race weekend.
We
did. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
I'd get swept with any of you happily.
I get swept with y'all. I wouldn't mind it.
We still need that bus footage.
Waiting. Someday. Soon.
Yeah, but the problem is we'd like get on a sweeper bus and just like break out a party, and everybody would think we were out of our mind. The glum faces and
can attest that the 2020 sweeper bus was very happy. The 2022 sweeper bus was I had to tone it down because I was happy, but there were some saddie faces.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to make them feel saddie face. What I like about this, like the common thread is like, just do the runDisney race, get swept or don't, and have fun with your friends.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like finding joy in the journey. Like that's been like the thing that I've found with runDisney, because it's not no weekend's going to be perfect. They don't do everything the way that everyone would hope. The race is going to get crowded. You're going to have to walk more. The list of things that could go wrong or that you could get annoyed with can go on really long. And I found that I've changed my mindset on a lot of that to like find the joy and the happiness in it, whether it's the time with friends or, you know, the amazing meals we all go to or just whatever it might be. Because at the end of the day, like for me, I'm like, we all pay a lot of money. Anyone who gets to the opportunity to do this pays a lot of money. And then also it's your time and your PTO and all of that like, why would you not want to enjoy it? So I've really found myself like making sure that I'm focused on that and surrounding myself with lovely people like you all who are focused on that as well. Not that we can't complain, because we do our fair share of that.
But also, like, you totally get to, like, it's your weekend, and you get to, I think it's like anything else, is you get to decide how you feel about it. So you can be negative Nancy or positive Polly. And that's gonna predict a lot of your experience. Like there's gonna be things that are hectic, but if you have a better idea on how to organize it, I'm 100% certain that they would love to hear it. So write it down and then throw it away because they really don't want to hear it.
Get the water stuff off the squeeze way.
Like, I feel like they've been sending out more surveys. Adam's been like out there, the new runDisney guy, but like he's been out there like listening, like, you know, I think they're trying to fix some of these things, but yeah.
And I do think like making it your sort of your own journey, your own event. I mean, like some people want to PR a marathon, Kunkel. You know, some people want to go like really, really slow. You know, some people want lots of character pictures. Some people don't care about the character pictures. Some people want to run alone. Some people want to run with friends. Some people want to run with friends and talk all the time. Some people want to run with friends and be quiet. but like it's your own journey and enjoy it. I mean, I think you say it well, Kimmy. I mean, you pay for it. You know, I mean, don't let the fear sort of overtake you so you don't enjoy the weekend. You know, sort of look at it as Lindsay said like a million times, you know, it's the journey. You know, it's not about, you know, the finish, and just embrace all of that and sort of embrace it through the training, and then figure out what you like and make that weekend, you know, for you sort of.
I like it. And, you know, if Brittany Charbonneau's there, you're probably going to lose anyway. So you're going to go in
shirt out of it.
Make it fun. That's my approach.
And you will probably beat us. So
that's true. What a ride.
But there's a good chance that we'll be cheering you on at some point on the race course too.
Mm-hmm. Also highly, highly probable. It's my new favorite activity.
Yeah.
I love that activity. I love that we're doing that.
Yeah.
I'm like willing to get swept so that we can cheer people on the race course. Like, that's like my favorite thing that we do.
When we get the footage finally of inside the bus.
I'm actually really excited both about not running the half in January. I'm extremely excited about not running the half in January, but I'm also very excited about cheering for the half in January because it's a ball. And so yeah, I'm still, it's kind of dumb to get up that early to not do it, but it's worth it. Again, with
you can cheer for us.
Opportunities.
I would like the next solo video on the channel to be Kunkel mic'd up doing commentary on spectating the half. I would like that to be the next solo video on the channel. If that would happen, please. That would be hysterical.
Narrating.
The best was when you were dressed up as Donkey Kong, cheering at Springtime Surprise, the 2023, the 10K. That was great.
And that was a ball. Tucker and I had an absolute blast doing that. That's one of the reasons too. That like I cheer for all the people spectating too. You know, clapping for them and dabbing them up, all the little kids and everything. I mean, I remember my first Dopey was coming out of Hollywood Studios, and the candy had already worn off by that point, and I just wanted everything to be over. And I saw the little kid with his dad's just standing out cheering, probably waiting for mom or something, you know. And the little kid had a 5K medal on, you know, and I'm there in my Dopey bib because I'm big bad, you know, whatever. And I like pulled over and I high-fived him and said, "Hey, I did that race, congratulations!" And he just like lit up, and so like that actually got me through another mile after that. So yeah, cheering for everybody and encouraging people in the race, and it's a ball.
I hope that kid shouts you out when he becomes president someday.
You wouldn't believe what this smelly man did.
Smelly man brought me to this place. I love that story.
And that's another way you can get joy, is cheering other people on and seeing people succeed, and you know, and seeing the joy in others. That's another way just to have joy sparked from all this.
And people, whether you know them or not. I mean, I think my memory of watching Mrs. Spoon and Meriwether's cross their first marathon finish line really ranks up there in moments of pride for me with finishing my own first marathon. I'll never forget that. That was just a thrilling moment to see. Just getting to be happy for the people.
I'm glad that you remember it because I sure don't. I'm pretty sure I blacked out like mile 23 and then woke up the next day.
Vividly, yep.
So when I first started this journey, I had this boss, and like you have to register for these races 6 to 8 months out, right? And I had this boss, and like I would register, and then like 2 weeks before, she'd be like, "Sorry, you can't be off." And so one, like if I tell you 8 months in advance and you can't figure it out, that's a leadership problem, not a Meredith problem, or not a insert your name here problem.
Correct.
Your boss needs to be proactive. My new boss that I've like worked for 3 years, he's great. He gets an email from me once a year with a screenshot of the dates, and it says the subject line is PTO. Prepare the others. And the email always says, here is my PTO request. Prepare the others, because I ain't coming. And he's never told me no. But if he did, just find a new job. You've got like 8 months before your race. And so make sure it's a well-paying job, because this is an expensive hobby. But you're probably going to be fine. Any of us, you can put me down as a reference and I'll just say you're great. Just remember that you're worth taking care of yourself, and you are worth the vacation time and the PTO or the unpaid days off, if that's how the cookie crumbles for you. That was one thing that I wish I would have learned earlier on. That's just some professional advice, or non-professional professional advice. So yeah, if you're going to hire me, if I'm interviewing for a job at your company, you didn't hear that. Just erase that from your memory.
But like, really, how convenient that you can actually go to a website to find out the date and times of your PTO, right? Like, really, we make it easy for our employers.
I mean, I literally was able to tell my boss like 13 months out about springtime surprise. And he like kind of have said something about like, oh, that's a busy time in the office. And I said, my guy, it's 13 months away. Figure it out. You can handle it. Nobody is dying. And if they were, I'm not the one to take care of it. So like, figure it out. And they will. If it means a lot to you, like runDisney means a lot to me. This is where I find my joy. So just take the time off.
So we talked about a lot of things that we shan't do. Anything else? Anyone else want to add anything before we move on to the second and final question tonight?
I do have one more. Don't eat at Three Bridges before a half marathon, because my intestines were never the same. And that was a busy act.
Three Bridges?
Bar and Grill at Coronado Springs.
Okay. I don't have any fueling regrets or places I shan't eat at. I know like it's kind of a tradition before the marathon to eat at Morimoto, and that's been fine for me. I love rice, so it's great for me.
Jez was here.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Amare as a Shan't repeat.
Yeah, she did not run the 2022 Wine and Dine because she ate fish in a bag from Amare at Swan Reserve, which that's a good restaurant.
Great restaurant, but
yeah.
Morimoto's like bougie rice, though. Like, it's not good old Uncle Ben's. It's like, what is this? I'm not fancy enough to eat this rice kind of rice.
If you're like me, you just go to Olive Garden the night before the marathon. I don't join the group. If you want to go to the Olive Garden with me, they'll give you a whole thing of breadsticks so that you can take off, so that you can carb load. And you go early enough that you get the old people special. So, I mean, it's great.
I'm sorry you had that bad experience, but I've actually eaten at Three Bridges a couple of times before a race and absolutely love it. But also shout out to Tanner, fantastic bartender at Three Bridges. But it's a beautiful, if you got to get into bed early, it's a gorgeous place to watch the sun go down and have a little snack, or maybe just bring your dinner from the food court and go out there and eat if you're married.
I have significant PTSD from that experience, and my intestinal tract has never been the same. So I will leave you to that one.
I just thought of an answer.
What?
A runDisney mistake I shan't repeat. I think I was sick after Springtime Surprise, and I think it was because we went into this weekend saying, let's just eat quick serve, guys. That did not turn out well for me. I need to be properly nutritioned, and like eating all this quick serves is like fried food and stuff's not great. I need to sit down and eat my food.
You're right.
So that is something I shan't repeat. I think we discussed this after the weekend because like I think I'm almost over. I haven't coughed this symposium, but like I was coughing like for a month, not the convid. but I want to attribute it to probably because being malnourished, and being so hot and undertrained and all that stuff. So
I think that's the Shan't repeat I don't know where this pen came from, by the way, but now I'm gesticulating.
I got a pen too. I found
Oh,
one.
look at that.
Yeah,
Yay.
that.
Eating anywhere before a race that I don't actually want to eat at. Like I don't do now. I just am like, I'm going to go to the place I want to eat, but like eating any type of food or any restaurant that I'm not actually want to eat at before a race, I will never repeat that again.
So this doesn't apply to Kunkel, but with the rest of you lovely people, would you do Dopey Fornia again? Was that a regret, or was that a
It was the thing to do when Disneyland races came back. It was absolutely the thing to do. Do I need to do it again? No. That's my take on it.
I can see a universe where I do it again because I already had a little joie de vivre when I saw the themes, but we're literally going to be on a plane to Buenos Aires the day of the 10K. So, but I felt a little spark come back when I saw the themes, which I shouldn't care about anyway. That was my whole thing. But when I saw Disneyland themes come out, I was like, oh,
I'd do it again.
Yeah. I don't think
I don't regret not doing it. I enjoyed living vicariously through your videos and photos and all that very, very much. But at some point, I would like to do coast to coast, but maybe not back-to-back weekends.
I would do it again. I'm weak like Bill. But now that they've spread it out, I don't plan on doing it this upcoming round. But now that they've spread it out a couple of weekends, I think it's more doable. The things that I noticed from it, or that I would say that I regretted this time around, was like, I felt like I was so worried about getting to California and to Disneyland healthy and in one piece that I didn't actually take advantage of things that I typically would do at Dopey. Like, I felt like it was like, okay, good. We got through the half is half of a half. Great. Like, we got the marathon, like, moving on. Like, it felt like it rushed the Dopey weekend, and we actually left earlier than we normally do. So we didn't have as much like Disney World time. But I wouldn't change it because it was really cool to be there when it was like coming back, and it was the first weekend back, and it was the first time we had done Disneyland ever. So, but it is trickier with the way it's laid out now, especially when you think about, okay, well, do you do Dopey, Dumbo, Princess? Like, I think it's going to get harder and harder for people to do every race weekend. Just, it's so stacked at the beginning of the year.
I would agree. I think I would do it again. I still am exhausted though. Like I still have lingering exhaustion. Like I'm like, oh yeah. Like I said the other day, I was like, we just did that Dopey to Dumbo thing. And then I was like, that was 5 months ago. Like that was 5 months ago. I can't use that as an excuse anymore. But it was good to like push yourself, I guess. And
even watching the videos, like I've said this before, you watch the end of the half marathon of Dopey Fornia, like there are some sense, like we're not making sense. Like the words that we are saying are not forming cohesive sentences, but we were so happy. And for eternity, now that they're better spaced out, we will forever be the people who are like, oh, well, when I did Dopey Fornia, it was only a week apart. But congratulations on your coast to coast.
Hey Jar, going back to fueling, is there any fueling that you've done during a race that's been your favorite or that you regret? And yeah, you've done a lot for charity, so you might not want to identify a regret, but so that's why I give you two pieces, either your favorite or your regret.
Or a Shan't repeat. It's just one you won't repeat.
I think my favorite fuel, I think most recently is, what was it, mile 23 of the marathon? Billy Linz's dad had a whole bag of baked goods from, was it Amaret's? Mm-hmm. Like a couple miles before that, I was like, I really want to eat that large cookie. And I did, had that, eating it with sour beer all along the boardwalk, getting our photo pass with the cookie. And that, I really needed that little jolt of sugar. That was like a J. Crow move there. Little jolt of sugar before that part of the race. And as far as my least favorite, the jalapeno cheese in a can that I ate No, yeah, that was during the minors. That was you, Kimmy, right?
That was me.
Yeah.
I did not say you had to eat that disgusting combination. I said nachos. Could have gotten plastic cheese.
It was good, but then like when I ate, I was like, stomach feels a little unsettled right now. So, of course, like the Skittles pasta that got pretty nasty throughout the race.
That's thanks to that day. I now have Skittles reduction in my lexicon.
Yes.
Think about.
What about that cotton candy thing that you got to carry across the finish line
in 2020?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I never got a chance to eat that because it melted on the ground and on my hand.
I will say Bill never knew about, I remember at one point Bill didn't know about salt tabs. Like he had no idea. And he was like, wow, I wish I could jump over the finish line, but I'm always cramping too bad. And I think Jez was like, salt? Question mark.
Yeah, it was sibling because I was like fueling with like candy and sweet stuff. Like I took the ox and spoon Dopey training for slackers too seriously. And like I did like apple fritters and like all this stuff. And I cramped up my first Dopey.
Did you skip the disclaimer episode?
like what? like I'm cramping. And like I sent a video like for one of the like as a joke, like I couldn't do a jump because I was cramping. And Jez was like, need salt tabs. And then I think it was springtime surprise of 2023 was like the first time like Mayor and Jez were both feeding me salt tabs. I was like, oh, this is great.
They're good for like a number of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes at the end of a marathon when you're it was that year when Dante was running the marathon because it was so much blue Powerade and so many of the honey stinger chews. I was like, I'm sweetened out. I need like
too sweet. Yeah.
Cheez-Its or pretzels or something.
It was that year.
But that Milky Way hits different. When you're going up that Tower of Terror Hill, that Milky Way, it hits different.
It's been Dove the last 2 years.
That's
dark chocolate. Like that's not what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first year I did Dopey, they had like full size bags of candy.
Ooh.
Like they just whatever they had left over from the Halloween party is what they were handing out. So like a full Snickers bar.
I need someone to like smoke a brisket and be like at mile 24 and just
all right. We'll have
America's like
Bill, you've had so many liquid vessels throughout this episode that I'm like, I haven't been keeping count over here. Like,
I haven't been keeping. Oh my goodness, this will be like go back.
You win the prize, Mayor. I was wondering if anybody would notice. You win the prize.
I was like, that's a different one. That's a different one.
It's nice hydrating.
All right, so we've gone through our Run Disney mistakes that we shan't repeat. But now, surprisingly, it took a surprisingly nice turn with all of our answers. Have nice sentimental answers, which is something I don't think I expected, but it turned out well. But
and nobody said Dopey.
What?
And nobody said Dopey. I was a little surprised.
No, all of us multi-dopiers here.
Ask us again in January how we're feeling about this. And
yes. How many? Okay, just for fun, how many dopey finishes are in this group? Kimmy, you have the most.
I have 7.
6? 7?
6.
6?
Yeah, 6.
Okay, 6. I have 5, so that's 11. Bill, how many you have?
3.
That's 14.
Me and Lindsay have 2.5, so
19,
together we have 5.
I was gonna say we have more than 2.5.
21?
Yeah, we're like almost like 22 because me and Lindsay are like.
Add up the money.
I did 85% of 2022 Dopey. 85%. So, but
if you're thinking about it, definitely do it.
Yeah,
it'll be the hardest thing you ever did.
It's
most fun.
Yeah, Dopey's not easy. It's a tough thing, but when you're done, it's like, yes, let's eat.
And if you're thinking about it, come do it with us. We're very fun. And Kunkel, I'm talking to you too. If you're thinking about doing Dopey, come run with us because we're fun. And it's not the hardest thing that you'll ever do in your life, but it will be one of the funnest things you do if you run with us. So viewer and Kunkel, run the marathon with us.
And you know what? Like, I can promise you, if you come and talk to us, it won't be a Run Disney mistake for you. You won't put talking to us on your Shan't list, or maybe you will, but
100% guarantee. We are non-regrettable humans.
Yeah, don't judge us by Carissa Galloway's stories on Instagram.
Oh no, I like in the video in the marathon video where I insert the picture of her like saying like still creepy. Like after she snaps that photo, she smiles big. So, okay, so we are in the midst of the Run Disney off season. It's kind of a shortened Run Disney off season for some of us. It's a little longer for you're not doing anything until marathon, Kunkel, right?
Yep.
Man,
just
a little longer
living
for you.
vicariously and saving money.
Oh.
So it's the beginning of June. It's the beginning of June right now. So June, July, August. We got 3 months until we're reunited together on a Run Disney course. But for the time being, what are you eyeing to behold this Run Disney off season? Jump in, whoever wants to right now. Ooh, what is that, Bill?
What fruit is that?
It's a peach.
Peach. That's look at all 6 of us right here. We'll be at the world's largest 10K in July, Peachtree Road Race. Also, Nick from Suspicious Tikis will be joining us. Also, some other people that I know will be there. But this will be my 3rd Peachtree. This is your second, Bill.
Second.
How many for you, Kunkel?
24 will make 9.
9.
Wow.
Lynn's your second. How many you, Meredith?
7.
7. And
Wow.
Kimmy, you're making your debut
I
at Peachtree. Heading to the ATL. Bill, why are you eyeing to behold this?
Well, seeing friends, first of all. But I love Peachtree. Like the excitement at Peachtree. I mean, it's like it rivals a Run Disney race. I mean, Kunkel told me about it last year, just the excitement. And it really is. I mean, people are everywhere. There's bands, there's music, there's an energy. It's cool. You get a shirt at the end. You get a medal beforehand.
You get a peach.
And you get a
a peach at the end. You also get cold water at the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Run Disney. We need to call Andrew and ask him to figure that out. Getting the refrigerators that we can actually have cold water at the end. Man.
Now the ATL really puts on a great race. I mean, Peachtree's awesome.
Yeah.
You won't feel more American anywhere else in the world.
It is on
you
July
feel
4th.
like the most American.
Atlanta's a great running city. Like just in
Run
general.
City, USA.
I know. It's
Put it on a
great.
shirt. It's official.
Oh, there you go. And Braves, and you get to go to the Hank Aaron Terrace.
Get well,
Braves.
MVP. Get well.
Oh.
I think that one spins, or mine spins really well off of yours, Bill. In addition to, getting ready for our next Disneyland voyage in 90 days, I'm eyeing to behold the very extensive menu at Marietta Diner.
Amen.
And I mean, if you want, some people read Harry Potter's, the Order of the, whatever, Goblet of Fire Stones, and others
Satire.
read the Marietta Diner menu.
It's the only menu I've ever seen with chapters.
Yes, there's chapters in that menu. It's longer than the Cheesecake Factory menu.
Kimmy, would this be your first time at the Marietta Diner?
will be.
Yeah, whether you want a hot dog or souvlaki with a side of moussaka or moussaka, however you say it, they've got you covered.
Yes, is the answer.
And a German chocolate cake.
There's a whole case of dessert that's...
And there's always like an insert of like 20 more specials. Like here's our novel of a menu. And by the way, these are today's specials. And it's like 20 more things.
And usually you hear like if a restaurant has a menu that's large, the food's not good. I haven't had anything that I'm like, that's gross. Like what say you, Atlanta suburb native, not native, but resident?
Yeah, that's true. I'm no, I love it. That's been one of our Christmas traditions. Is usually I don't hit up Marietta Diner very often because you'll die. but because it's all the food that's fit to fry. But it's wonderful. So yeah, we would do that. We go Christmas lights and go to Marietta Diner, which is practically a Christmas light display 365 days of the year itself. So
at night it's lit, y'all.
Yes,
literally.
Inviting myself to Kunkel Family Christmas too.
Yeah, we're
come for the.
I don't even want to come to the barbecue anymore.
Yeah.
For every holiday,
caroling. They can't deny you.
It's open 24 hours, so you can go anytime. It's like jury duty going there because you see all kinds of cross section of people there. It's great. But yeah, that's definitely something I am also eyeing to behold this runDisney off season. We may eat there multiple times during the trip.
We probably will eat there multiple times.
So,
and we'll go to the world's greatest big chicken. So, we'll go back to our Dopey Training for Slacker roots at the Big Chicken over at the Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's like a mile down the road.
Down the street from Marietta Diner. There's also a Krispy Kreme right across the street from Marietta Diner.
There is.
That's after the Christmas lights.
And we're going to spend a lot of time at the Battery. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, we're staying at the Battery, which is the home of the Atlanta Braves. It's like baseball Disney World for me, guys.
and I've even rented a Slacker mobile, so we're gonna all cram in, be happy little campers. I will piggyback. Peachtree is 100% the bright shining star in the runDisney off season because I get to see all of your faces in real life. I can even put my hands on your face if that weren't creepy, but maybe I will.
Yeah, I would agree. Peachtree is definitely outside of the Disney World Marathon. Well, honestly, I enjoy it more than the Disney World Marathon because that's a marathon, but which is plenty of reasons not to enjoy it. But no, Peachtree is the reason I started running in the first place because around these parts when that was the big thing, 4th of July, you get there, the fireworks that night or the cookout, and somebody walks in their new Peachtree t-shirt and everybody's like, ooh, everybody knows what they went and did. And I'm like, I want me one of them shirts. And and then now I got a whole lot of shirts, but Peachtree and otherwise. But I'm very much looking forward to that and seeing the Slacker Nation contingent that'll be there and eating some barbecue. That's going to be great. Did a dry run of the latest brisket for Memorial Day, so I've been practicing and
hope it wasn't a dry run.
No, I heard it as I said it. I'm like, that's dry rub. Dry rub's what I meant. The latest dry rub for brisket. Yeah, so that should be great. More content forthcoming.
That's good. I know last time we were at the Kunkel family cookout, you made some burnt ends and they were delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's a good chance that'll happen again.
So I'm super excited for my first Peachtree. And I think overall, I laugh at off season because it's an off runDisney season, but I finally feel like I found my running mojo again. So I'm on it and trying to get a little faster and push myself and have confidence. So I'm eyeing to behold some hard workouts that I'm going to regret saying that I'm eyeing to behold this summer, but we'll see. And we're starting a sister's bucket list of things so that Katie and I don't sit on our couches all Sunday long after we do our long runs on Saturday. So we went to Harper's Ferry, learned some history, so we'll see. We'll see where we end up.
Are you going to run Peachtree with us or are you trying to PR? Any answer is fine.
So the thought is to PR, but I tried to PR on Monday and the Memorial Day and I was less than 2 minutes off. So I didn't hit it then. But it's game time decision. I'm training for the hopes to PR. And I also have a drinking game going on now that anytime someone says, it's in July, right? It's in Atlanta, right? I drink something because right. I do know that. So if
I will say Peachtree's not the one to PR, go do a different one.
Peachtree is almost a drinking game in and of itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but Meredith's right. There are a lot of I know some fast people, and they'll all tell you they've got their 10K PR and then they've got their Peachtree PR because
it's hilly.
50,000 people is kind of rough. Now,
I think you're just fueling the fire for Kimmy. Now she's like, I'm really going to show you guys.
Now throwing down the gauntlet. Go get it.
Yeah. Go get it.
Running hills every week.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's going to be, I'm training right now towards that goal, but
Hey, I support you.
it is a game. It will be a game time decision that day.
I mean, the only reason my 16-year-old twins are doing Peachtree again this year is because it was the chance to do it with Slacker Nation. So
Oh, yeah.
forget that. It's July and it's hot. It's Atlanta. Haven't you heard?
They know how fast we travel. They know that it'll be fine.
Yes.
Lindsay's and Char are there. No offense, Char. It's going to be a relaxing pace.
Yes, I am Minds Behold Peachtree. I'm Minds Behold that July 4th Braves versus Giants game where we're all sitting in the Hey Karen Terrace, eating multiple hot dogs and hamburgers, sitting in the left field watching. I was going to say Acuna hit a home run, but he's not. Probably not.
No.
Seeing
Ozuna.
Braves, Ozuna hit a home run, and that is what I'm Minds Behold. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us, watching this, and also all you participants in this Slacker Symposium, the first one since October, as I said, over an hour ago. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you something made you laugh, made you smile, made your heart tingle with warm emotions. So until then, viewer, like, subscribe, and tell your mom about this.